views out of the moment, right, up to now.
Yes.
I want to welcome you, and
Thank
thanks
you.
for having come here.
It's nice to be here.
I'm curious to find out a little more about what is that you do, consulting firm, I think.
Well, I think of myself as a cultivator, as opposed to a consultant. It came out of a 22 corporate career that I had. And when I started my own company, after taking a one-year sabbatical to start writing the book, I also came out of that was developing a business. And it's what I loved doing.
What do you do? A woman comes to you and says, how do I reach a corporate
Well, it comes in a variety of ways. Sometimes it's organizations who want help with their succession planning and want to help their women managers attain leadership skills. Sometimes it's individual women who either are exploring their creative potential or their business potential.
How about political leadership? Do they also come?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I do believe there's a need for that.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Now, this company is located in New York City?
Yes.
You come from New York City, New York, or is it from a different area that you come, or you were born?
No, I was born and grew up in the Midwest, in Indiana. And I've lived in New York about 7 years.
I see, I see. And you went to school in Indiana and everything?
Yes.
I see. And so you came a time you took a course in writing?
Not really. What happened is that I had so many stories that were told to me by my grandmother, and I felt a responsibility. Yeah. And I've always sort of had a natural inclination toward writing.
Did you start writing at an early age, or as an adult?
I think I was writing plays when I was 8 years old.
No poetry?
It always came, not poetry, but it always came to me to be that kind of expression was most natural for me.
I see, I see. And in one section here in the book, you say you liked to weave words. Is that writing? What does writing mean to you? The weaving, and in a way, the stories. You're weaving stories with words. Is that your philosophy or your way you see writing as a weaving, as like a profession that you patiently write books or words for hours and hours? Is that?
That's a good question. I definitely believe in the sort of the layering of things. And I think being in Carrara, Italy, where they excavate marble and there are layers of those things that have to be sort of excavated over time, that it was a metaphor that I used.
I see. Before you said went to Carrara, but how did it come about that you went to Italy? I know you went several times, but there was a time that you felt you had to go to Italy.
Yes.
Is that so? Why?
Well, as I said, I had a very long corporate career. And when I moved to New York, it was because I'd sold a very profitable business in the Midwest, and I was asked to help expand it internationally. So for 2 years, I did that. And there came a point where I was traveling all the time, and then there were mergers and acquisitions, and the business became unrecognizable. And I was really worn out. And I decided...
So you wanted some time off.
I decided that I couldn't quite leave it, but I could take a year off, and the only place I really wanted to go was Italy, and I traveled alone. Okay,
you traveled alone and you stayed there for some time. And where did you go?
It was 2001.
And where? Where did you go?
Well, all of my ancestors came from Tuscany. No, I have traveled to other parts, but that particular year I traveled throughout Tuscany because that's where my ancestors were.
Basically in search of your ancestors.
I wanted to walk where they walked and just experience it. Plus, I have relatives there still.
I see. So it was a romantic sort of capturing the past or capturing where you...
Well, and it was slowing down. You know, I'd been in such a high-paced, world that I felt like it was a nice break.
So, and the writing began then?
I had started writing some stories beforehand, and I had some ideas, but I didn't have the time to develop them because of my career. So this gave me the time to really explore it.
But you did go there with the idea that perhaps you could write or do something. The story, your story in the book that we will present in a second, is that you have relatives talking to you. That happened naturally, or was it a scheme or a plan to write the book? that way?
No, what had to happen is I had to stop and listen to them. I think I was in a big hurry, and I worried a lot about how I was going to write them.
I see.
And I struggled with that for a long time. So I finally got this sense that it really wasn't my story, that I was telling their stories. And for whatever reason, this is the way it naturally came to me. It was not contrived.
I see. The book reminded me of Shakespeare. Remember
Wow, that's
Hamlet?
quite a compliment.
Not in the writing, but the story
Yes.
of having the character speaking to you. Do you
Yes.
remember Hamlet at the very beginning speaks with his ghost father?
Yes.
And the father tells the story to him, what happened, and from then
You're
it
right.
develops. Another writer, an Italian writer, Pirandello, the 6 authors in search of an 6 characters in search of an author, also have characters come to you and
Yes.
talk to you and say, I'm alive here, to write
Yes.
me. So I felt that sense, but the characters that you create here really are not people that you can see. They come to you and talk to you. So it comes to the reader, let's say, now is my turn to talk.
That's how it happened.
That's the way it happened.
I didn't have any outline really to work with, other than I knew what I wanted to say.
So the stories are told by the characters themselves.
Yes.
You're not injecting anything at the moment.
No.
Later on, at the end, you present your own story.
That's
finally.
Right.
I see.
That's right.
Now you said you went to Tuscany because your family comes from there, and you went to Carrara.
Yes.
What is Carrara? Is it a town, a city? What is it? A small little place?
It's actually an industrial town. It's right on the Mediterranean. It's a port city, not too far from Genoa, but it's surrounded by the Apuan Alps. And this is where the most pure marble in the world is excavated.
The purest marble in the world, is that?
That's
Okay,
the
I want to
claim.
make sure. In fact, Carrara is well-known, famous for the marble that
Very
comes
much
from
so.
Italy. And any personage, any Italian character or person went to that Carrara to buy stones there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
some
for
like it.
thousands of years.
For thousands of years. Are the marble about to finish, to end, or is still there?
Well, there's an interesting statistic about that I learned while I was visiting,
Yeah.
is that there are 30,000 tons of marble excavated every month. And at the current rate of production, we have about another 300 years left.
Oh,
That's what they say.
200 years is not much.
Well, but 30,000 tons a month is a lot of marble to take out of a mountain, I think.
I don't know. I would like to introduce the book now because I believe it's important that the viewers can see the book. It's the Stonecutters area. Of course, it has a story, Stonecutter, because?
Because my great-grandfather was a marble carver.
A marble cutter. An area?
And the aria is because he was an opera tenor in Carrara before he immigrated.
So is this why you divide the book in chapters, rather than chapters, but in areas? It's like an opera, is that
Yes,
you?
I developed it as an opera program with 3 acts, and to use the word woven again, the arias through the book.
In fact, there are some areas written straight from the opera in your
Yes.
book. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yes, because these were his favorites, and I understand that he always carried
maybe
his
we could
music.
see the small picture.
I would
of
like
the
to
book.
say something about that
Yeah.
photograph.
Maybe you want to go to the small picture on the book. That it shows that there's a large stone, and in the background there are some statues, but there are people working on that block of stone, which is not stone, but rather it's marble,
marble.
white marble. You want to say a story about this?
Well, those photos, and there are several in the book, were taken by a man named Ilario Bessi about 100 years ago. And because of his documentation of the photography in those mountains of the workers, we really have a pictorial history of how that was all done. And it's interesting because the family's still in business in Carrara, in the photography business, when I got permission to use the photographs in the book.
Now, this was hard work.
It was
Terrible work.
amazing work. How they got the marble down the mountain and how they excavated it without, well, now they use diamond saw.